Okay, everyone, no introduction needed. We know who this is. This is Mel. Hello, Mel. God
Hi,
bless you,
everyone.
Mel.
Hi, love. How are you?
Love.
The love, the best energy on the planet. How are you, lady?
I'm so happy to see you because today was like, and I'm like, I'm like, all is well, all is well.
Yeah, I
So,
mean, I feel the same. We have to all remember that there's ups and downs, but everything comes back to love and energy and connecting with the right people. And no matter how I feel like we're in the battle and it's one more step, and then you see somebody like you and me, and we get together, and our energy is immediately lifted back into the positive place that we want everyone to be in right now. And I love seeing you, and I'm
thank
so
you
happy
so
to be
much.
back.
Thank you so much. And before we start, I just want to tell you, even though we spoken before the interview, but I know now we are recording, so people will hear it. On behalf of everyone who was watching our first interview, thank you so much because people truly love you, appreciate you, and I received a lot of feedback on Instagram as well. And I'm so happy to hear this because, those are topics that are quite heavy for many people, and sometimes people are not ready to receive, information. But I know that if they have interest, they will be ready eventually.
Right, right. And I mean, that's the thing. You kind of can't, well, we've talked about this before, that you can't really force anyone to confront things that they simply do not want to confront. And coming up now, we're coming up, I believe, on a phase in this journey, this spiritual battle we've been fighting and watching, and where there's going to be a lot of disclosure that people aren't going to want to hear. They're not going to want to hear it. They're not going to want to see it, and they're going to disbelieve it. And you know what? That people have to do it in their own time. But the best part about that is once you do, then you can be part of the energy involved in light to dark and all of the things we talk about. Is once you expose yourself to truths that maybe you don't want to see, then you grow past them. Then it informs your future more than prior, when you were trying to keep going this way. And I think through my own journey and my own research and figuring out what's going, or trying to figure out what's going on, and remaining positive. And I get so many people reach out to me to tell me information, and that really is a fascinating and keeps me going. And then I really have to verify. There's a lot of people that they get information, they say it, but like I'm trying to like build something here where there's a mutual trust between me, my audience, of course you, and our other friends.
Yes.
So I really like to look into it. And like I told you before when we were talking, I was reading yesterday, and it took me to go look up the Declaration of Independence, which I hadn't read in a very long time, like probably in elementary school. And I took it out, and I literally I read it in awe, thinking like, this is where we are. These people, I actually thought in my head about the journey coming from England under the monarch, and wanting to get away because they wanted to worship the God they wanted. They wanted to raise their families the way they wanted. They wanted to till the land and build societies that were open and free and accepting of all. And they did it, against all odds. And a lot of the history that we've been taught has been skewed. But the truth is that the first 13 colonies, they were joined by Native Americans, and it was an effort, and there was a lot of people like passed, like died, and it was treacherous, and it was undeveloped land. And but I mean, how amazing. And I thought, what if they gave up? They would have been killed. I mean, theirs was a life and death. And I thought yesterday, I thought, God, what an amazing document. And then I was looking at the Bill of Rights, because a lot of people right now feel really what can we do? Well, the truth is, we, the people, really can do a lot.
Mhm.
It's just, it's not, it's being portrayed right now. Our voices are being silenced. We're being treated as a domestic terrorists or dissents, or just any of this. And it's what, but you're from, you're from Poland.
Mhm.
This is only new to America. the rest of the world has seen this,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
over and over. And it's the first time, I think, so that people are really, you know, looking around and thinking, well, what can we do, and feeling helpless. But we're not helpless. These are, we have unalienable rights granted by our creator: life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. But we also have the right to not overthrow violently, but to overthrow a government that is no longer serving we the people, that is more dystopic and on their own interest, and that aren't protecting the every single individual's independence and property. And like we talked before about the executive order show, it's just like, even people that hated Trump and voted for Joe Biden are right now like,
Yeah.
what is going on?
Yeah. But you know what I want to tell you, Mel, when I was listening to this, and thank you for sharing. It's so important now. I think for me, when I was listening to you, three virtues came to mind that are very crucial in this time: is courage, is resilience, and is integrity. And
Right.
those three things, when people just, if you're not resilient, it doesn't matter. You have to be resilient, because that resilience will take you to the next step, right? But
Right.
like, there's no question in my mind. Like, I am still watching the movie. I don't watch it every day. In the last episode, I saw that Oval Office was on the second floor, and the second floor. That's, yeah. And also, I was wondering, and I want to start with this with you: why Rubberman is not attending the White House briefings? Why he doesn't show up? And, like, by the way, Mel, where are those briefings taking place? Because I am questioning any rubber situation in the
Right.
actual location. I feel none of those are actually there. So if this is the case, it means that whole media is actually playing this movie in some different location.
Yeah, I mean, it's very confusing, and the woman that is doing the briefings, you know, that she was Brennan's, she did was Brennan's, you know, press secretary, and Brennan, as we know, is caught up in all kinds of stuff. So when she speaks, but the way that the way the media is treating her compared to how they treated Kaylee or Donald Trump is really just so shining such a light. And then, you know, a reporter asks, you know, are we ever going to see Joe Biden in a
Yeah, yeah.
press thing? And she's like, why, you miss him? Well, we have never seen him.
No,
So
that's what I'm saying. Don't you think, like, every president, when is
when
officially
they're
in
new
the
to
office,
office,
they show up and they like, hello everyone.
yeah, no, I don't know how they're going to pull that off. I also noticed that he wasn't invited to participate in Davos, and everyone else did except for him and Boris Johnson. So again, another sign that what are we watching
Yeah,
here?
that's what
But the
I'm
press briefings are they're so
no, I mean, honestly, Mel, I'm telling you, it's so hilarious to me watching this, because I'm like, where are they really? Like, what's the zip code? What's the zip code, people? Where are you? Because I don't think you
right,
are where you
right.
seem to be. It's like you can't. It's just absolutely unreal. It's unreal.
Yeah, unreal. Yeah, and that's the thing. I think that this last week and a half has been a real red pill to those that you know, voted against Trump instead of for our country and for we the people, because everything that he's done is is literally walking towards the UN One World Order agenda, the Great Reset. And we warned everyone, but now people are like, why would he do that? Like, just some very strange executive orders for your first week of business, let alone that he said during the campaign that ruling by executive order is what dictators do. Okay. So where are we now? But yeah, no, and then, you know, that what happened with the stock market this week, then we
That's what
find
I
out
want
that,
to
oh,
tell you also, Mel.
yeah,
Can we talk about this?
yeah.
So now I had Pimpy yesterday. I talked to
Oh,
Pimpy.
you did.
I love him so much. Such a
Yeah.
great guy. And we talk about silver, okay? Because literally, if everyone buys 1 ounce of silver now, we can totally crash the JP Morgan system. I'm
It's
serious.
crazy, but it's on life support as it is. And what's been going on is that uh, we're watching again the Great Awakening. This is part of it. What happened with GameStop, I believe, is part of this. What we're watching,
Yes,
because
yes.
the end of the day is that it's the same cabal that has kept us in debt slavery, the private Fed, the private bankers, the cabal. This is their creation, Wall Street. And what we saw was Wall Street say to the little guy, the investor at home,
Yep.
playing their own game, you can't play here. And then it going all the way up to the SEC and the White House, cutting it. And it just exposed the complete and total fraud that I've been talking about for a very long time, that is Wall Street and the stock market. And
Mm-hmm.
and how they reacted, like
Mm-hmm.
with extreme, some of the bigger guys with extreme arrogance. How dare these, these minions, these
Mm-hmm.
nothings even try? And you know what,
Pleasant,
I
right?
really think that,
Yeah, just
yeah, I think
pleasant,
it was
not crazy.
yet another.
Yeah.
Right, because I want people. I did a whole show, I think you might have seen it, with Charlie, about
Yes.
the
Mm-hmm.
DTCC and the DTC, and how, the stock market really is owned by those same people, and very little goes, like the people, you and I, if we buy stock, we really own nothing. It's just nothing. What they own, all the shares really, and all the corporations, and all of that, and they're not liking being exposed. But what I noticed is there's a couple people out there who did say something, and then they're retaliated against, and now they're calling these traders, these Reddit traders, are now domestic terrorists. I
But
mean,
but Mel, you remember the last time we spoke, and you remember when I said this, we were talking about that Rubberman will totally collapse the economy, and then remember this. So I mean, literally, as you say in every of your shows with all sorts of great people, that now we are having absolute exposure of every sector. That's what it
right,
is. Every
absolutely,
sector.
absolutely. We got the COVID, more and more is coming out. We know that the big pharma and big medicine. See, I think people were exposed. Not that we didn't know that hospitals charge too much, or that no transparency and all of this, but I think we didn't realize that it was such a coordinated effort,
Mhm.
which is coming out now, on every level. And another thing Joe Biden did to push us to look at big pharma is, why would a first executive order be about insulin pricing?
Mhm.
And then I thought, I guess he doesn't like diabetics. It just makes no sense. And then you have to say, see, every one of his executive orders, what I'm trying to do is be like, who's he repaying?
No,
What
who
favor
wrote the
is he
script?
repaying?
Well, who wrote the script? Who wrote the screenplay?
I
Someone. I
know.
mean, okay, that will be our
I
next
know.
topic, you in Hollywood, because you know those shenanigans. You know this.
Yeah. I know. It is a script. Seriously. I mean, now, there's just every single one of these executive orders, you think he's paying somebody back for a favor, or, and somebody's definitely in his ear telling him what to say. And it's red pilling every day. Then now people are questioning the Fed and the SEC, where I think masses never even looked at it. They just looked at it as, well, that's the way the system is. But now people, and then I thought it was funny because we talk a lot over our years of research about game theory, and do you want to play a game? And how on the board, and this place happens to be called GameStop. It's just, there's a lot of stuff,
That's
to put like
wow.
weird,
Right?
interesting,
Good point.
and I thought, really, this is really getting interesting, that
Man,
would
this is a movie. I love this. No, it makes sense. And then look, AMC, right?
right. I know. And AMC is owned basically by China, but it's exposing the Chinese because a lot of people don't know. I know we're going to talk about it, but China infiltrated Hollywood about 10 years ago.
Oh,
And a lot of the money in Hollywood is directly from China at this point, and they are censoring movies. They're choosing movies. they China boasts that this year they're the biggest market for Hollywood. So, it all connects back to the same stuff. And I like I said, I just I keep seeing things and thinking, okay, what's that about? Because I see him I don't even see him doing anything.
that's
I
what I mean.
see
It's rubber man. It's
it's
rubber.
something weird. But everyone has to be questioning it. Everyone. I don't care who you are.
They are
You
waking
can't
people
watch
up.
the show.
They are waking people up. I'm telling you, it's a freaking movie.
Yeah.
It's a freaking movie. It's
Yeah, it is.
unbelievable. Second floor, hey? Cars behind the
Yeah, I know.
window. I can't.
I know.
I can't.
And we
I
really
can't.
right. Yeah, but you can't not right now. And it's funny. I noticed that there's two kinds of people out there. Those that you say, "Did you see the executive orders he's signing?" And they say, "Not really." And then I say, "Okay." And then you ask other people and they're like, "Yeah, I don't understand." And then so everyone's kind of in this place. I mean, I guess there's people out there that are backing what he's doing, but that's not really, none of this is for we the people. And this is why I went back to the 10th Amendment and Thomas Jefferson yesterday and all of that, because this is what they were warning us about. This is what they escaped.
So,
And
yeah.
this is not American, not America. But all these executive orders, we the people don't want them. We the people aren't choosing this. They're not even asking us. The worst part is they're not even asking the people that are supposed to be representing us. And he had a stack this big. The guy is like full-blown dementia. Somebody wrote those executive orders a long time ago. So who wrote these executive orders? Because it's not him. So, it's just every day it's just more and more red pilling, like off the charts. And
But,
the next one's coming.
I mean, honestly, I'm so happy to talk to you because when you were talking, I'm like receiving stuff. Like, I don't know if it's from your aura, but something just came to me. You know what? This is a soft exposure using the Rubber Man and whatever Castle Rock production it is. This is a soft exposure to people because when the pitch day will start, that will be a heavy exposure. So I think it's almost like they are building those levels of foundation for people not to completely fall apart.
Right. Well, that's what I've been thinking. I also did, from what I was hearing here, that the people, the White Hats, the alliance that does exist, that they need or that they want, or this is what I'm told, that 70% of the American people awake and wanting intervention to stop this craziness is the sign for them. It's not a military action as much as it's protecting the Constitution and we the people from a rogue government, a government that no longer serves our interests and only serves themselves. And that was written in the Constitution for times like these. And though we're only a 300-year-old experiment, it's beautiful. Even though, it's great to read it. You think that, I don't want to read that boring document, but then you think people wrote this in hundreds of years ago. It's amazing. But yeah, but it was written for times like these, and this country has never seen it before, but many other countries have.
Yes.
And like I've been saying, when you hear Vladimir Putin saying at Davos that it looks like 1933 Germany, it's time to wake up. It's time to wake up. Not only do I think that he's fully in the alliance and has been working with Trump, but I also, Americans don't know our history, let alone foreign history, because this has happened many times. We've even seen it happen. And, it's just time for, us to love our country and be grateful that we live here enough to say enough. And I think that's happening every day. And, it's
I am
It's just,
so grateful
you
for the
can't make it
alliance,
up.
Mel. I'm so
Me
grateful for
too.
alliance. And you know, actually, when you said that he is part of it, I have to tell you, I feel pretty much all of those countries that Trump has visited in 2017 and 18, they all are.
Right, they
Even,
all are.
I mean, even those people will not ever suspect or assume they are, they also are, because this is
Right,
major cleaning in Europe right now, major cleaning. This is
right,
not just
right,
in US. And you know, honestly, I really feel that this is truly all in control. Like I said last time, it's all in control. It just on the surface, it looks like it's out of control, but
right,
it's presented this way so people who are not aware, they can literally like wake up. Like you said,
right,
the military is measuring the frequency, like the
right.
human resonance. They are measuring the level of awakening in a way.
Right, right, exactly, exactly. And I've said all along, because I believe that this happened, the alliance got together and Trump showed all the evidence about the international trafficking and some of the CIA black ops and the Five Eyes and the
Yeah.
cheating and all of it at the G7 2 years ago when they all complained that he invited Putin. I think he invited Putin because they all sat down. But I have feelings sometimes that G is involved and that Abe are involved, like that all these people are involved, but they're playing their part where they are, because a lot of people don't understand. I think the bigger picture, that the people of China and the people of Iran are prisoners in their own countries. They are living in really, and they're counting on us too. That's the thing. The people of China and the people of Iran want to be free too. And, that this is all connected to that. And then some good news, I think, is a sign. Guess what happened yesterday? They announced that the Standard Hotel is closing forever. And I thought,
That's
whoa,
huge.
here we go.
Yes.
Here we go. And when I saw that, I thought, oh boy, here we go. And
From
then I was waiting for that next thing to fall. I've discussed many times the underground nature and what goes on in LA and from the Port of Long Beach and the trafficking there. But I was waiting and waiting, and then I saw that the Standard's closing forever, and I thought, okay, that's a sign. And then a whole bunch of new Ghislaine Maxwell documents got dropped,
right.
and
Yes.
these ones are really way worse than anything we've seen so far. We've known about it because we've been signaled to look into this, and we know it's true. And this is when you look back at our journey and the research and the work we've done, and you say, if it didn't keep coming true, if it didn't keep mattering, if it didn't keep figuring in,
Exactly.
then that's one thing. But
Yes.
it does. And for anyone that's attacking anyone that's trying to find the truth and dig in and put the dots together,
Yeah.
then every little thing of that we see
Yeah.
is more, makes me more resolute that yes, it is we're okay. Things are happening behind the scenes. And it's that, like we talked about last time, and we talked about it before I came on. Right now is the hardest part, because this is like we are in the fog of war. They're throwing everything at the people to gaslight them. And like you said, all over the world,
Yes.
because I saw in Italy, all these restaurants decided at one time to open,
Mm-hmm.
no masks, no nothing. They couldn't do anything about it. Next thing you know, they revoke the lockdowns in Italy. And that's what's happening all over the world, and that's what we have to do. And as we go further, then we're seeing our leaders exposed, like in New York City and Gavin Newsom, and we're seeing it happening. And guess what? It's without the mainstream media. It's a generic evolution of people seeking out information and wanting to put out information, and it's we the people
Mm-hmm.
doing it. It's not us asking the government. We no longer are asking the government anything, because I don't think anyone really trusts the government, certainly not the Department of Justice, FBI, all of this. They're turning their powers against we the people. And I just feel like slowly but surely,
Yes.
we're starting to take the power back as intended because it's for the people, by the people. The people can govern themselves. We didn't need these people,
But you see, Mel, when you're saying this, and it's so beautiful what you said, because again, I got this image. There is a great power without being aggressive. People can make a massive change
Right,
without being aggressive. They can literally take off the mask. There are simple
right,
things. There are simple things.
right.
There is no need for fighting. There is no need for aggression.
No. And it's not part of our movement. It's not who we are. I mean, if anything, everyone that I'm picky about who I work with. Everyone that I do are very, very centered, God, spiritual, really want the best for everyone and see like what's happened to our planet and what the consequences are of allowing, a rogue government to drive us into this dystopic UN Great Reset, which is really their goal. And we as human beings that believe in God and family and country and have like a spiritual connection to the planet and to the universe, we're looking at this and we're saying, who's choosing here? We don't want, like, we need to choose. We the people need to consent to this stuff, and we're no longer even considered in their choice making in DC or all over. It's the same everywhere. But like you said, I've been saying this for a while. This great reset, this like global agenda 2030, agenda 21, like we'll all on the planet own nothing and be happy. And we're going to start eating insects and stuff. Their whole thing, like their whole agenda is so crazy. It's so off the charts. But here's the thing. The people don't want that. That's not for the people. And what's happening is every single country on the planet, especially every country that has a central bank, is even
Oh
more
yes.
now.
Oh yes.
That's a big part of it because it's these same guys and the same guys that really only are the only people that make money on Wall Street are these same people. But it's like the global reset is going to be the global awakening. They're going to get exactly what they didn't want. They're getting the opposite. And it's because of people like us. And like you said, I just finally like had it the other day. I felt like I just couldn't go on and it was too much. And then I had to regroup. But then it's like, I want to be part of that. I want to be part of this global awakening. Like, it's so amazing that all of us can travel and go wherever we please on our planet, and it's all thriving, and that there's not so many middlemen keeping us from our destinies
Yes.
and from our dreams and from uniting wherever we want to go. Like, I look forward to the day where I can go to Iran. There's so much beautiful stuff there. There's so much history that I love. I want to go to China. I want to go anywhere. We should all be able to go anywhere. And we should all also be able to put our own people first and take care of those in our backyards and make those choices as the people of each of our countries with the pride. We should be proud of each of
Yes.
our
Yes.
individual
Yes.
cultures,
Yes.
background, religion. It's
Absolutely. And
it's the yeah,
introduce this to one another,
right,
to present those diversity of beautiful cultures and cuisines and history and
right,
traditions and dances and like when you're in Greece or
right,
Cyprus, how you eat, how you
right.
share the meal, because each country is so different and it's so beautiful this way.
It is. And you know what? It kind of reflects what you were talking about before. That original tour that Donald Trump did of all the countries
Yeah.
kind of reflects how they were treating Trump. Don't forget how they treated Trump. They treated him in Saudi Arabia as somebody who is going to free them. A lot of people don't realize Saudi Arabia is where Mecca is. Iran wants Saudi Arabia done as much as America, not Iran. Again, it's the regime. It's a small group of the same people, and then they're backed by the cabal bankers, obviously. But yeah, so it's like that's how I feel. That's how I see it. I feel like this UN one world order, they've been exposed. They're being exposed on every level where, I think people will I do think that a lot's going to come out very shortly about the virus and the origins of the virus, but also the complicity of the media and a lot of politicians in what they've done to our society. And again, we need to be strong and supportive going forward,
Yeah.
because the damage done to the mental health,
Yes. Yes.
especially of our children, will take a long time to unravel. And that's another place that's being exposed. Thank God. You and I talk about it. You're writing a beautiful children's book, which we need them again. They stopped making them for the positive reasons. They started making them against police and for white privilege. They started making children's books about that kind of stuff and not about love and problem solving and logic and using your gifts. All the books that we read growing up, they suddenly were no longer making them, nor giving them out in schools. And I read yesterday, I think the most inspiring book I ever read was like in 7th grade when I read The Great Gatsby. And then I started a lifelong obsession with Fitzgerald. And then I found out that New York City schools banned The Great Gatsby because it's racist.
Which part?
I don't know.
Which part?
No part. I don't even know what that means, And they also banned The Scarlet Letter. I mean, all the books that I first read that inspired me, we're both writers.
But Mel, that life of Scott Fitzgerald, it didn't end up with roses and lollipops neither.
No, it's a good story. I also love Hemingway, all these people, but they've all had
Hemingway.
One day we'll talk about it. I wrote a screenplay about them.
Mel,
I did tons of research. Yeah, they once took a car ride from the south of France when they were expatriates to Paris. By the end of the car ride, they never spoke again.
But I'm so happy you mentioned Hemingway. Can I tell you? Oh my God! Now I love you even more. Like seriously, you know why? Because his spirit was helping me when I was writing my novel, and I'm not making this up. I even have his picture down there, but I don't want to go. And so,
that's great.
But with him, that's, oh my gosh, this is such a great topic. I want to ask you this. I don't know why I didn't even think about him, but you just mentioned. So when he moved to Cuba, to Villa Finca in Cuba, which by the way, it's on my list to go and visit and create like the movie, like a travel videos. That's my next thing. So Mel,
hopefully we're going to have that when the Great Awakening really comes to fruition. We will. And we can free the Cuban people too from their dictators. For sure. And we can travel freely because it's a beautiful country.
For sure. But Mel, he had some problems with 3-letter agency that started with F like Fidel. But
I know.
So he had some major issues and he didn't attend, like, I think the Pulitzer Prize or some awards. He was like, screw you.
Right. Well, that was the best part about him. But don't forget, he was also a war correspondent and he knew a lot more than they wanted him to. He became a novelist later. He was a war correspondent first. And that's why a lot of his writing is informed by that. That's why there's so much depth. But he also wrote so his writing's so basic. That was the best part about him. Where like Fitzgerald's so flowery, his was like boom, boom,
straight
boom.
to the point. That's how I write too. I write to the point. I don't go around. I'm just like boom, boom, boom.
Right. And I think that was informed by him being a war writer, but I also think being a war writer at the time he knew a lot of things that, before internet and open, source or whatever, they didn't want him to know. And he wasn't scared. He was like a fearless trooper.
Yeah.
And, again, both him and Fitzgerald met their demise the same way. But, when he was alive, he made a real difference. And a lot of people think he was just a novelist, but
no, much more. I love him. And I have to tell you, I watched this movie, Papa Hemingway. And there was a scene when they were showing like he was throwing out guns from the boat into the ocean, Cuba, into the ocean there. But enough about Hemingway, because this is like
we could do a whole show.
No, enough. I just
on our exclusive
like Hemingway. I just wanted to know, like, what did they do to him, because they harassed him for quite a long time.
Right. Well, they were rogue then. I think it was probably the Sea Agency, which as I've told people, I believe that there's going to be a full disclosure coming very shortly about 9/11. That, again, remember how we were talking about people don't want to see, they don't want to believe, they don't, it's, that's why the CIA, as you know, I don't know if your audience knows, the CIA created the term conspiracy theory
Mm-hmm.
for anyone that they put this out to their Mockingbird media, that anyone that didn't toe the line about what happened to JFK, that they
Correct.
would call them conspiracy theorists, which then they link to being crazy. And but if you trace it back, isn't every detective, isn't every researcher, isn't every FBI agent at some point a conspiracy theorist? If you think that there's something going on, you make a theory about it, then you do the work and you find out it's true. But they bastardize the terminology. So now you see it all the time, conspiracy theorists. They
Mm-hmm.
don't even know what that means.
No,
It's
it lost that power they
right,
intentionally had for it. I think it's less
right.
and less. It's not the same as it used to be, because people kind of like, they don't care about this anymore.
Right, right, right. I mean, people just want to hear the truth. And, the mainstream media, Mockingbird media, whatever you want to call it, they continue to use these old tools that are outdated at this point.
Absolutely.
People just stop stopping people from saying whatever they want. Let the people make up their minds themselves what they believe. And the control of our minds is their what they think is their power. But little by little, people like us just getting out there, spreading information, encouraging people to do their own research, all of that is chipping away at that system of that they've had around our brains for a very long time. And that's see, these are the silver linings. These are the good parts about going through this together, like me and you and your audience and all that, is maybe people on the outside, refuse to see it or can't understand it. But we can find like the silver linings to it. Like, okay, here's all the negative side, but like, here's all the positive side. And there is a lot. But I think sometimes, like, had I not gotten together with you today, I might have all day been moping around like, I can't take it anymore, But then once you get with somebody that you're like-minded, and then you can
It's like
express
you
yourself.
exchange that.
Right,
Mhm.
right. And also, the censorship and this that anyone that speaks out against the government or says the obvious about the stolen election, they're going to have to go arrest the rest of the planet, because every country in the rest of the world knows what happened on election day except for our country. And our country, a lot of people do know, but they're being gaslit. But if you look, what I do every morning before I do anything is I go through like the 10 country papers of foreign countries that are the American paper. And what you see is the rest of the world knows what's going on in America way better than we do. And that's really, really, I mean, if the guy in Ukraine and Mexico and India and Putin, if all these people are saying there were serious problems with that election and the American people know it and they're not allowed to say anything, what is going on? Even Merkel and Macron, who are both in bed with the cabal, they can't even not say it. So, it's like America's waking up last, but are we? Are we just not allowed to talk? And
Well,
how much did the mask and the social distancing have to do with us not being able to talk about all the way, this started all the way back. So we couldn't even have conversations with each other about the debates. Like, why weren't they asking Trump about this amazing Abrahamic Accord and what's going on in the
but
Middle East?
but
It's a
Mel,
miracle.
seriously. I mean, okay, stuff just comes to me. Like when you talk, stuff comes. Okay, so look, like nature, we have a stone, a rock, and there is a life force. We are a life force. So is nature. If in nature there is a stone placed somewhere and it prevents the plants from growing, there are plants who freaking will
Right,
burst through the stone and they will come out. I mean,
right,
yes,
right,
that's, look around, people, and that's how we are. We are like this. We are life force from God. We are life force. So even if you kind of smash this or like prevent this, there are other ways that this life force will burst
right,
through. There is no way.
right.
But I also think, and I think you feel like me, that the intensity now of that suppression, it really is, I don't know, I feel it's alliance. because the more they press, the more they press, the more they show. So those informations, that those drops, there is more and more drops. It's like building the layer of
Right.
resilience.
No, I agree. I agree that it's getting to a point where, yeah, I agree that we're being pushed so to the edge of losing our voices, our individuality, our independence, our freedom, that people are it's getting to that point where the energy is so palpable.
Mhm.
Everywhere you go, you can feel it.
Mhm.
And then like you just said about the life force that pushes its way through no matter what. Yeah. And I think that's where we are. And like I said, I believe that the person that said to me about the military waiting till they felt that 70% of the American people would support their intervention. I feel that we're bubbling up to that, and that's what's going on. And every day that goes by, there's more and more people saying, "Well, it's not me that they're censoring, or it's not me but it is happening, and it's a slippery slope. Maybe I'm next, or I'm seeing on that side too. And then the way that this isn't how America's supposed to run, where we the people don't matter at all, and but we matter to each other, and now we're starting to talk to each other, finding ways around their censorship. And every day that continues, we get a little bit more willing to keep
Yeah.
fighting, a little bit more patient. I've never had patience at all. I've had to learn patience over the last year, over the last 3 years. But yeah, it's just a matter of, like you said, there's what I believe, like with the alliance and stuff. They don't want damage. They don't want. This isn't a movement that's about violence or most of that stuff is coming from the other side. We're going to find out, there's more and more evidence coming out that the attack on the Capitol was pre-planned for exactly what it came out to be, to demonize half of our country, to put in a domestic terror Patriot Act. This was all planned, and it was the same people. Antifa is worldwide. I don't know if people know that. Antifa is not a group of, and they're not white supremacists. They're an international. They're basically the Hitler's Youth kind of same model. They're all over the world. They're doing this in every country. Same with Black Lives Matter, but in different countries, it's different names. But it all goes back to the same money. And that'll be a big exposure too, because you'll see there's going to be no impeachment trial because he didn't incite a riot that was planned, and they're going to keep pushing
Yeah.
like today. Yeah, they're going to keep pushing, and all they're doing is building their own demise in front of us. Because I think also um we couldn't, thank God for you and a couple other people have been very supportive, because we by being silenced or backing away, which was my instinct when when
Yes.
I first got attacked, and I was like, I'm just a researcher. I really, I just felt like I didn't want to let down my fellow warriors either. There's a fellowship that we've created, and it's worldwide, and it's getting bigger and bigger. I saw there was like an article in Germany about how this movement, this American conspiracy theory movement, is getting really big here and there. It's all over the world. It's been, but it's not about that. It's about people seeing truth for the first time and being empowered by it and wanting to share it. And how nice, because that's going to be the truth is what's going to unlock everything, the light. And we're gonna turn around, like I said, on the flip side, when the Great Awakening, and we're watching the immense positive shift and the financial shift and all of this stuff, and it
Yes.
starts. Then we can take this, what we're building now, both of us together and separately, any direction we want, and continue to inspire and encourage and share and go into different avenues. And it won't always be about this, but right
Correct.
now,
Correct.
this is how
Yes.
we get there. And on
Correct.
the other side, I look forward to, like, doing lots of different things with the platforms we're building that are all positive. And there's going to be plenty of room for that. And it's like getting through right now and reassuring people that there is a plan, and the plan is for you right now to take care, like you said to me, take care of you first.
Yes.
Right now, take care of you first. So when and I believe it will, things start to shift, that you're the best you, when the positive changes do start to come from this dark to light, which is what I believe we're going through. Be the best you by then. Like, you're working on this amazing children's book, and I'm trying to finish my other a different book, but I'm also doing a research thing that I want to share a lot of the stuff that I've learned over the last 3 years that, like, isn't really common
But
knowledge.
but you know, Mel, this would be actually just came to me. This would be a great idea if you create some form of book, or like you accumulate those basic but very important informations that
Right.
many people will hear for the very first time. And just when you said it, I
Yeah.
think this would be brilliant, because a lot of people, it's like stages of awareness and knowledge.
Right. Right. I mean, if you saw, you're a writer too, but I still like writing longhand. I feel like there's a mind spiritual
Connected.
thing of writing longhand. And I have like this many, like literally 20 notebooks full of this stuff that I will put together, and I want to.
Yes.
And I just, this is what it was about knowledge is power.
Mhm.
Facts and truth and history, are what they are, and people can manipulate them and
Yes.
all, but nothing can be better than the truth. And the truth is where it all lies. And this is going to be the first time most people hear the truth about anything. And we're way ahead of the curve because we sought it out. But every day, people are seeking it out more. They're more and more aware that they're not getting the real news. They're more and more aware that things aren't adding up. And
Yeah.
then, and as time goes on, and I bet you we see the end of all of these news networks and stuff, they've
Yes.
betrayed the people to such an
Yes.
extent that people are going to be seeking out people that are, giving them the straight story, whether they like it or not. They're giving them the straight story in a positive way that they can swallow it and do their own work, own research. We're not telling people how to think. We're telling people what we found out and what we think, and how, it's had a good response. But I'm so grateful I came on today because it was a last minute thing because I wasn't going to see it till next week. So thank God I did,
Thank
because
you,
I
Mel.
feel
But
much better.
look, I was just thinking, we tomorrow is February 1st, and the next month will be a lot of things coming out,
Yeah.
a lot of events that will kind of speed
I
the,
think it's going to
the
come fast.
process.
I think
Yeah.
I think it's this next week is going to be a big week in my opinion.
Yes.
And then I'm telling you, when I saw the Standard Hotel closing forever
Yeah.
yesterday in the newspaper, I thought, uh-oh, here
Can
we
I
go.
ask you before we end today, because it was on my list of the questions, but we will next time we maybe talk about the other things. But how do you see the future of Hollywood as far as all those studios and all those places? Do you think they will? How this will be? I'm just curious. Like,
My opinion is that it's going to be decentralized, that God willing, I went to film school, and by the time I got to Hollywood in 99, the industry was changing so much. I really believed that it was about, art and studying and hard
right.
work and craft and all the stuff. And it became in the last 10, 15 years all about marketing, PR, and agendas and, all of that. I really think it's going to be decentralized. I've always believed that talent rises to the top, and too many people that have true talent and really earned it, I mean, earned it from the ground up, years and years and years, got cut off from ever succeeding in the Hollywood system as it is right now. And I look forward to people that are experts at their craft uh, being able to create their own projects. I think the money situation with Hollywood is has been corrupted so beyond repair. The agency situation, the so many parts and everything for so many people, yet only a tiny amount of people ever work. Like all of this, I think it's going to be very decentralized. I think a lot of these people are going down for the Epstein Island case and will be removed. And, the agency system also became very corrupt. I think it's going to be more a matter of like-minded people that have the skills and talent getting together like we did, in these formats, and finding each other through connections and everything. That because I love filmmaking. I can spend 18 hours a day on a set for 3 months very happily.
I love
so,
it.
you
Because
know,
Mel, I have to tell you, I saw a little bit of your profile, and you did some really amazing work in your past. And I have to be honest with you, in the beginning, when this stuff started to come out, I felt I was a huge movie lover. I used to go to the movies. There
me
is
too.
this mystery and romance about being in the movie theater, and then you wait for like I loved just being in the movie theater and watching the movie, no commercials. And then I was like, oh my gosh, none of this will exist anymore. Actually, I'm glad now. But the point is like how you can still create a beautiful
Well,
story.
yeah. I think that it's going to be cleaned out. I know how you feel. I mean, I just paid off my NYU debt last year. I loved movies so much. But no, I loved like Hitchcock. I loved this Cassavetes. I loved Kubrick. Like I love filmmaking. I love the lighting. I love what cinematographer. I mean, it's amazing, amazing the craft that goes into it, the talent, all of that.
The storytelling,
Yeah,
yeah.
this that's the best screen, the whole thing. But it's been hijacked. It's just been hijacked. But the real raw talent, the books that, the required reading in film school and the seminars in Hitchcock and all the things, they matter. They still matter, and there's a formula to screenwriting. It's a learned formula. All of these things are crafts like any other art, but it became not for art sake. It became political. I mean, that's really what happened there. And I think that a lot of the bad ugly seeds are going to be removed, and what's going to be left are, I believe, true artists that love filmmaking and love telling a story that that makes people feel. And what about the sitcom basically went away? There's like fun, the comedy. It's just, there's so much pent up talent when people that have been locked out of that world for whatever reason, the
Yes,
politics, the
yes, yes.
agenda, LGBT, whatever it was,
Mhm.
that these people have been, I know many people in Hollywood that have had Oscars, Emmys, whatever, not even made it that far, but have tremendous talent that just never even got a shot because it was rigged against them, just like our politics. I
Right.
think the same thing's going to happen. And I feel
But
positive about it
will
though.
you act again, Mel? Will you produce a movie in the
Yeah, I
future?
love it. I love it. I'll get back to it. I actually called my agent last week and was like, "So you think I'll never work again, right?" He's like, "No, no, probably,"
You will. I
because
think
I'm
you will
doing
be
this.
so busy, girl, like you have no idea.
Well, I want to make my own stuff, and I was out there for a long time, and I've written 6 screenplays, almost 7, that's sitting there. And in my head, it's like I feel like we're going to have the opportunity if we want to do that. I know how to budget. I know how to raise money. I know how to do all that. I love putting together cast and crew, and I want to do that. That's the only thing I ever wanted to
I
do.
love
But
this, Mel.
I got
Mel,
stuck in
listen,
Hollywood.
you better stay in touch because my third
What do
book,
you mean stay in touch? We're
because
having
my
a
third
show every week for the rest of our lives.
book.
No, and listen, I also, I left Hollywood and I couldn't get out of there fast enough, and it took me a few years to actually feel like I had shed the toxic
The
energy that I picked
energy.
up there.
Yes.
But I'll tell you, I love LA. I love Hollywood. I love filmmaking. I love the whole thing. It just, the underbelly of the business became so obviously satanic and
Yeah.
awful, especially because I was working with some people that are really at the top of that mess. And but I always in my heart said, that's where my heart is. So that's part of this whole great awakening phase, is like, oh good, now I can get back to doing what I spent 20 years of my life sacrificing for. And then and to only realize that it was a rigged game, and it was hurting my mental health and my emotional and spiritual health to fight it.
Yes.
And now, going forward, we're not going to have to fight that hard to just live our dreams and put together good projects that inspire people. Nobody wanted to see screenplays in the last 15 years that were inspiring. I mean, it wasn't about that. And the only
No,
people
the
getting
same.
jobs.
It's like Mel, really the same formula. And then now I know what I know. I didn't know then. It was how they were informing us what the future will be.
Right. Look at that. Look at that, and and I watched it also happen over at Netflix and Partisan.
Mhm.
There's just a few companies that if you scrape the surface, you're going to find the same progressive, liberal, dark money, the same people. And, you know, then there's a bunch of Hollywood actors are on the CIA payroll. Some people don't know that, and directors and writers. And they were writing projects to manipulate our minds to accept things that we might not have. I mean, including the Matrix, you know, it couldn't be more
Correct.
true. But then you look at what happened with them. So, you know, it's just a whole unraveling. But I believe on the other side, like art and you know, true art and talent and motivation and beauty again in filmmaking and
The
all of that.
heartfelt, yes, the heartfelt
Yeah.
connection. This is the
Yep.
heart when you come out from the movie and you are so
Right.
transformed. You transformed.
That's the best. Right. And that's always, I always said, any movie that I ever made, I would want people to not be able to talk for like 10 minutes after they walked out because they felt so overwhelmed by the
Oh,
message, you know, and, you know, we don't do that anymore. And, I won't even go to a movie, and I'm a filmmaker. I don't want to be told
mhm,
stuff when
mhm.
I'm going to a
But
movie. I
it's
don't.
finished, right? This is it. No
Oh
more.
yeah.
It's finished. There's no. There is. It's
They
over.
can't build back from where they are, and then you know there's a lot of exposure coming up in that. I mean, it's like we said in the beginning, it's like been every realm. Washington was exposed, the elections exposed,
Stock
big
exchange.
pharma,
Yeah.
big science. You
Mhm.
know, a lot of people are starting to realize, you know, oh, they told us just last week that hydroxychloroquine works. No, they knew the whole time it did. Big science, you know, these scientists. Well, these scientists are bought and paid for by the same cabal as everything else. So it's just, and now it's going to be big Hollywood entertainment, media, and sports. So, you know, like they
It's
said in this
almost like
thing,
we have to go through every sector and like and see
right?
what's left and see what's left.
Right. Well, I think what's going to be left are goodness and heart and God and
No, I
faith.
mean what's left to expose, Mel. Like
Oh,
we
yes, I'll think of some. Yeah, no, for sure. I mean,
what's not marked, because it's like, okay, this is done, this is done, this is done. So then what if they have like one or two left? That's
mhm.
it, and then it's rapido, rapido, rapido.
Right, right. That's what's about to happen. I think. I think that we're there. We're there. It's just they're pulling it off, lifting the veil.
Well, thank you for today. Thank
Thank you
you
so
so
much.
much.
I will see you next time. It is always my greatest pleasure spending time with you. You're an amazing woman and a really, really good new friend and a lifelong
Thank
partner, I can tell.
you. Thank you so much. Love you so much.
Next time.
All the support from everyone who's watching.
Bye, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. I'll talk to you soon.